Welcome to the show. Hey everybody, this is Jesse with TooManyFords and a new episode of the Death and Resurrection Show. So, quick update, we are in the process of waiting for parts and cleaning everything. I've ordered, I found a nice website that had international parts at a lower rate than what you get from Ford. I try to buy from Ford when I can, but sometimes it just doesn't happen. They can be so expensive for things. It's a little bit ridiculous, but I got genuine international seal kits coming, it's called a lower end seal kit and an upper seal kit, and basically what they entail is every single seal and O-ring, head gaskets, the O-rings for the timing cover, front and rear main seals for the crankshaft, the O-rings for the oil pump, everything. I picked some of those up, I'm waiting for them to get here, and I bought a new clutch. And I think as far as reassembly goes, everything I'm going to need is right there. So I will do a little unboxing video when everything shows up, but we've got a brand new flywheel coming, new clutch, new pressure plate, pilot bearing, throwout bearing, pivot bolt for the shift fork arm inside the transmission. It's going to be great. I got it all coming. In the meantime, we are deep cleaning everything except for my shop, which is destroyed. I've annihilated my shop. I will show you now. It's bad. All because we wanted a 1-ton, we have now completely decimated my shop. Everything is everywhere. Oh, you know what though? All this shit's going back on the truck, so I'm not that worried about it. What I have been up to though is disassembling, inspecting, and cleaning this. This engine is the one that Ryan and I pulled out of the junkyard last weekend. And it actually used to look worse than this engine. The entire valley was full of oil, I'm guessing from H-pop leak of some sort, I'm not 100% sure. But it was this dirty, if not dirtier. And I have completely scrubbed this thing down by hand. What I'm going to be doing today is, I got one of the decks prepped. You can see how clean and nice that is. I did it all by hand, degreased this thing by hand. Takes time. I wish I had a hot tank, but I don't. So, got to do it the old-fashioned way, a little bit of elbow grease. It's all good. One thing that I really love about cast iron compared to aluminum, and this is just one of the pros of it, you can use a steel gasket scraper on these surfaces. And how I prep my decks on engines that aren't completely thrashed, so this side hasn't been cleaned yet. All the way. You can still see in here there's graphite from the old head gaskets, but you can run that gasket scraper across this deck surface. As long as you don't give a ton of pressure and you keep it flat, it will not scratch this. If you try that with aluminum, you're going to be taking little shavings off here and there and you'll wind up with a trash deck. Not good. So what I like to do, I'll stuff some rags in orifices. I'm not too worried about the pistons. I put them horizontal so that all the debris falls down into that mess, that nightmare. And then I'll go over it with a soft bristle steel wire wheel on a drill. Just clean everything up, and then when it's all done, I will put my straight edge on every single surface I can and make sure that we have no openings. So this deck is done. It's clean. It looks nice. Yeah, it's a little bit of backwoods shade tree engineering, but it works. It does the job. And then I don't have a hose in here, but I still use the foam degreaser. Ton of rags. I get those at Costco. It's totally worth it. You get like 9 or 10 rolls for $15. It's one of the greatest things I've ever encountered. But you run over this with the degreaser and a Brillo pad and like a brush, like this daddy right here. Nice semi-stiff bristles. They're plastic or some type of fiber. They're not steel, so you're not going to hurt anything. But you run over it with that, and then you hit it with simple green after you get the degreaser going. You run a screwdriver or the gasket scraper through there and get all the big chunks of dirt and grease and all this thick, nasty stuff out of here. You got to scrape that off. Look at that. So that entire valley was covered in this. both sides of the block were covered in this. The oil pan was destroyed, you know, but you just get all this junk out of there and it's ready to roll. So what I'm going to do today is finish cleaning and prepping the other deck, and I'm going to scrape all the gasket material off of where the oil pan mounts to the bottom of the block, and then we're going to tape this thing up and spray it with a nice fresh coat of Ford blue paint because it's cheap. It's something that will help you identify oil leaks in the future, having that nice black diesel oil against a shiny blue gloss paint. Make it really easy to identify where it's coming from, and straight up, it's going to look nice. Why go through all the effort of completely tearing motors out of trucks and doing this and doing that if we're not going to church it up just a touch? So I'm going to get to it and I'll show you the progress. So got the other deck cleaned up and got the entire engine block masked off so that we can spray a little bit of this stuff on there. Try and make it look just a little bit nicer, a little bit cleaner. Like I said, it's going to help us identify oil leaks in the future and just give it an overall better presentation. So kind of a win-win there for 10 bucks or however much it costs. If you're doing a rebuild of any level, whether it's something kind of simple like what I'm doing or all the way down to the bare block and hot tanking it and getting it decked at a machine shop and having an actual professional go over it, not some hillbilly like me, it's just a good idea. Shoot some paint on it, make it look nice, make it easy to diagnose problems. And when you're masking everything up, don't be afraid to use some duct tape, man. Yeah, it's nothing fancy. It's not spectacular. Basic outline of the timing cover on the front, we can clean that up again just to make sure that it's good. Our valley's clean. The sides of the engine block are completely degreased and dry and clean. That's where the other side of the oil cooler goes. And just going to go ahead and give it a nice coat of paint, see how it looks. Hopefully it turns out good because I'm not cleaning it off. If it looks like crap, that's just how it's staying. Yeah, I know. It's technically an international motor, and if I'm not mistaken, international engines are gray. But it's going in a blue Ford, blue block. Why not? It's cool. Look at that. I always like Ford blue. It looks nice. So yeah, we'll let it dry. It says 3 hours on the can at 60 degrees. It's a little bit cold than that here right now. So I guess we'll probably give it a good 15 or 16 hours. We won't touch it until tomorrow. We'll just let him dry. And then peel all the tape off of it, and any mating surfaces that have a little bit of overspray, we'll hit it with the Brillo pad. I got a little bit tight on the timing cover, just so that when the actual timing cover is on, it looks right. So yeah, we'll let this dry. Like I said, a few hours. I'll probably coat it again tonight, because I did miss a few little spots. But in the meantime, I have all of these parts need cleaned and prepped and ready. And then it's really just cleaning all the parts and getting the motor put back together, and then we got to clean all of this nastiness out of here. So yeah, on a positive note though, I did take the shifter fork out. That's it right there. Your throwout bearing slides into the back. This is where the actual hydraulic master, the slave cylinder, hits it right there, and that presses it in, and then your pivot is down there. So this actually is in pretty decent shape overall. It's a touch rusty and it's wearing right there, but it's not grooved. So that's normal. When it starts to get grooved and really deep, you need to replace these. If they bend, you need to replace them. When your throwout bearings look like that, they need to go. But it's a little bit different on these heavier duty trucks compared to like the Tremec transmissions have clips. The ones that actually use shift cables, they're quite a bit different than this. But yeah, this guy, he just presses out of there. There's those two little nubs. And the new one just snaps in. It's completely assembled already. I'm still waiting for that. I probably won't touch this. There is a lot of gunk in there from the rear main leaking on this engine, or possibly high pressure oil pump lines. The evacuation hole on the block is right over the bell housing, so we'll clean that out, and we'll go through this with a brush and some degreaser and clean everything up, you know, get all the hay out of there. Nothing too crazy. It looks like a lot, and it is. There's still a lot to do. I mean, there's still a lot to do, but the reality of it is all the really difficult stuff in my mind is done already, and it's been handled, and it's going to be okay. The cylinder heads look good. I've been through those already. None of our timing cover pieces. Our oil pump looks really good. There's an oil pump right there, believe it or not. This is pretty trick. It's kind of similar to, I guess my friend was telling me that Subarus do this. I'm not a big Subaru guy, but this is your actual oil pump. It's keyed onto the crankshaft and it's driven off of the crank. But it bolts on there like so. And then that O-ring and this seal right here, that's effectively your front main. So we got to get all the gunk off of this. It's pretty gross. Got to clean the timing cover. There's the H-pop we're going to be using. I want to clean that. And then there's the reservoir that we'll be using and the drive gear for it. We'll be cleaning that. Contrary to popular belief, from what I understand, is that there is actually no way to time this. So it's got an even count of teeth and all it does is spin the H-pop. But you do want to make sure that you mark the front, because you can see the way that these are cut. If you put this in backwards, you are going to tear some stuff up. So that's important. This is our H-pop reservoir. Kit I bought comes with a new screen. You want to make sure too that if you're doing this like I am, if you're torturing yourself, whatever Powerstroke you're on, I don't want to come out right now. Some of them don't have the screen and some do. So you want to make sure that your model has the screen. From what I understand, the vast majority of trucks do, possibly all of them. I think the club wagons, meaning ambulances, have them, and the vans. I do not believe that the excursions have them, but I'm not 100%. You'll want to get yourself a Chilton's manual or something along those lines. And we still got to clean the heads up. Probably going to shoot the manifolds black and just clean the heads and get that cast iron look on them, but have the exhaust manifolds be black. Once all the aluminum pieces are cleaned up, the black and aluminum and raw cast iron combo will probably look pretty decent. But it's mainly just because it's all apart. I really, I wish I had a hot tank, but I don't. But since it's all apart, it'd just be stupid not to deep clean everything and make it nice. Because when are you going to have more access to clean all this crap than right now? I mean, I know it looks like a disaster in here, but look at how much of that cross member is covered by engine and engine components. And there's a radiator and an intercooler and everything right here in the way. It's just stupid not to do it right now, so we will. We will make this truck feel loved. Yeah. And I'm hoping that when it's all done, it's awesome. I mean, obviously it's not going to be fast. That's not what it's about. But if it's reliable, I'll be stoked. And then the other one is my carrier bearing. Kind of hard to see. You can see through it. That thing's shot. So I may go steal the drive shaft out of the truck we got the motor from. I'll go check the carrier bearing on that, depending on how much it costs. So yeah, I may go steal the drive shaft out of the truck we got the new engine from, or new to me engine. It's a crew cab long bed manual 2001. It's the identical truck to what I have. It just was probably in a lot better shape before it got totaled or whatever happened to it that made it wind up in the junkyard. So depending on how much a drive shaft costs there and how much a new carrier bearing and paying someone to press it on, because I don't have a press that'll do that, I may get a new carrier bearing and have somebody fix my drive shaft. I may go and steal the one out of that truck and possibly the rear bench too, just depending. Why not? It's got an armrest. But yeah, so far so good. It's all coming together. Everything looks really nice on this motor. Checked out the main bearings and the journals, and everything looks all right. There's no weird heat scoring, there's no grinding, there's no weird marks or anything, just a pretty standard wear pattern. And sorry I haven't been doing too well on updating the videos. It's just been a hectic week, and what little time I do get in the shop this time of year, I come out here and I just have to, it's like 2.5 hours, so I have to work. I can't be doing the videos and everything all the time, but I'm going to keep trying to do at least 2 a week. We're going to be shooting something tomorrow, hopefully, depending on how work goes. So I'm on call this weekend. new little series that's going to cover my exploits in the Mustangs this year. So we'll see how that goes. I'm going to give it a shot and see what you think. So anyways, thank you for tuning in to the Death and Resurrection Show. Until next time, be kind, like this video, subscribe, maybe leave a comment, let me know what you think about the progress I'm making on the truck, and I'll see you next time.